Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about vinyl again. So, if you don't know, this is a 12-inch... Yikes. Dropped it. Hey, welcome to the channel. Nice to see you. My lighting is a little weird. I don't really have it set up to do videos right now, so I put little evolutions right there and stuff just to make it seem a little bit normal. But today we're talking about vinyl records. And for those of you who don't know, this is a 12-inch vinyl record. These typically spin at 33 RPM, 33 revolutions a minute, and contain about 20 minutes of music on each side. I'd say I think they hold about 45 minutes altogether. And this is what people call a 45, but it's a 7-inch vinyl record. And they call it 45 because it spins at 45 RPM. Deliberately different than this, because when these two formats came out by two different companies, they were deliberately different to compete. Now they're friends, I guess. They both won in the end. Me, I personally like the LPs because I like to put on a record, sit and listen to it and play guitar or do whatever and just chill. These don't excite me as much, but that changed recently. I've recently gotten interested in underground music. This does spin at 45 RPM and it has a big hole in the center. You know, over in Europe, they don't usually cut the holes into centers. But over in America they do, because they were pushing this jukebox-like device where you set a bunch of 7 inches on top and each time it's done it'll drop the next one. That's what this big hole is there for. Over in England, they don't usually do that. You know, they just have the regular hole. And these still spin at 45 RPM, but this one spins at 33 RPM. Why is that? Well, there just happens to be 2 tracks on each side, because a normal 7-inch record at 45 RPM has enough space on it to fit a track on each side. You know, there's not really much room to put more than one track unless your songs are like 30 seconds long. Typically one song on each side, and usually artists will release these as singles. And then I got this from Bandcamp, this record. Now this is Meditations in Affinity Confluence, and it has 4 artists on it, and it took me a while to figure out that it was 4 different artists on here, and the back looks pretty cool. But yeah, let me get closer. You can't really tell where the track ends, except you can see that little bit of a spacing right there. That's about where it switches over. Why would somebody do this? It's 4 different artists. It's not just one artist, it's not just 2. And I have another one to show you that is 2 artists with 2 songs on each side. But this has 4 artists, 4 songs, 2 songs on each side at 33 RPM. Now, if this was spinning at 45 RPM, like the traditional 7 inches, you wouldn't be able to fit 4 songs in here. You'd only be able to put 1 on each side. But because they decided to do 33 RPM, they could fit 2 on each side. Now, you're sacrificing a little bit of quality because the needle is going over less of a distance, so there's less definition there. But unless you have like an audiophile, you know, hearing sense to where you can hear the difference, it's really not that big of a deal. You're really not going to notice a difference in the speed versus quality. But I thought this was fascinating. I was like, man, I don't really like 7 inches all that much, but this was really creative, and I thought it was a great way to get a bunch of bands out at once. See, on the front, it has Terry Green and Eyelet, and then on the B side, it has Kid Farrell and Big Water, 2 different artists on each side. When I went and bought this record from the guy who actually started the band Eyelet, there was an issue with my order and didn't go through, and it took a little bit of time to get to me, but then he sent me this for free. This is a 2-way split instead of a 4-way split. So in the community, this would be considered a 4-way split. 4 artists, 4 songs, 1 disc. This is a 2-way split. 4 songs, 2 artists, 1 disc. Now look at this thing. You're gonna be surprised at how pretty this record is. This also spins at 33 RPM. My light is a bit insane right now. Okay, I guess I don't need the light that bright, huh? So look, this is Eyelet on that side and Jillian Carter on the other side. Look how pretty this record is. It's like a bubblegum pink. It's beautiful. But this is also 33 RPM, and there's 2 songs on each side. I thought that was brilliant because up until I got these records, I didn't know that that was a thing. You know, I thought that all 7 inches were like this. I mean, obviously, except for the hymn record I have. I mean, this band's from Finland, you know, so They don't cut the holes in their 7 inches. They just print them like this. This blew my mind when I saw it, and I just had to make a quick little video on it. 4 artists, 4 songs, 1 little disc. And there's no, like, when you're listening and it goes from track to track, there's barely any time in between. It pretty much just goes to the next track, which is great. You want to put the needle down and just listen to it. If there was a groove here in the middle to where you can select the second track, that'd be kind of pointless because it's kind of short. You'd have to get right back up in like a minute. You might as well just put it down and listen to both songs on each side, because all 4 of these songs are great. And all the songs on here, I'll put down in the description so you can check it out. It's heavy metal, hardcore music. You probably won't like it, but if you like hardcore music, you'll love this record. I think it's great. But like I said before, the 12-inch records are what excite me. I like the 12-inch records the most. I mean, if people are doing really cool stuff like putting more music on smaller formats, I'm all game. Anyway, thanks.